Hey guys, how's it going today? So I had somebody ask me after my video about, well, I've done a couple of them now, about preventing unwanted pregnancies in your dogs when you have intact dogs around each other. And somebody had asked me, well, what do you do if an accident happens? What is a person supposed to do? And that's one of those situations, like just like in women and humans, you have to make your own choice. Now, dogs don't have the same freedoms as us human women do. Well, I guess it depends on what state you live in. Your dog may have more rights than you, depending where you live. I'm not even joking. That just occurred to me, and that's sad. Anyway, so you have a couple choices. If you know that I absolutely do not want this pregnancy continued, I do not want her to have a litter of puppies, and that can be for an assortment of reasons. The choice is yours alone. You can't, like, there's no morning after pill for dogs. It'd be really nice if there was, but there's not. Even like in goats and sheep, there's medications that you can give to induce, a cycle. But that I'm aware of is not something that you can do yourself. So, at that point, your option is to do a spay abort, which is exactly what it sounds like. They will go in and spay her, and anything that potentially may be inside is going down with the ship. Of course, it's, better to do it sooner rather than later. That's better, like, for safety of the mom. It's less risky and is going to cost you less if you can get that done ASAP. Now, if that bothers you, like morally, if that bothers you, then your only other option is to carry it through to fruition. Fun fact, though, the majority of like spay-neuter clinics, the low-cost programs that they have out there, most animal shelters, humane societies, whatever, do spay aborts every day. And that's something that most people don't think about or don't know, but it happens all the time. When you're, especially in like a larger city, when you're taking in hundreds of feral cats, for instance, you know how many of those feral cats are pregnant? I don't know like the exact statistics, but probably a lot. Can you imagine if they took the time to like x-ray everyone to see who's pregnant or ultrasound everyone? Give me a break. Nobody would do that. And it's best on the community if it all gets taken care of there that day. You're preventing hundreds and hundreds of potential critters down the road by stopping that cycle right there. And not all, I guess, places are probably like that. I know different places have different like procedures and like practices that they follow. I know some places they'll palpate the female if she feels pregnant, is definitely for sure pregnant. They won't. But a lot of these places, they're all going down with the ship. And that's just one of the things that people don't think about. But a lot of animal stuff, I find it very interesting how there's a lot of people that unless it is packaged and marketed with a nice pretty bow on it, they are not prepared to handle the facts of life and nature and the way that it goes. When I was in nursing school forever ago, we were in an advanced anatomy class and we were working on cadavers and dissections, and we were doing cats as part of our learning. And these cats came from the program that they did was like in the inner cities, Detroit, Chicago, Milwaukee, whatever. They would trap these cats, like feral, we're not rehabbing these things, cats, like let's live in a dumpster to survive. They would go and they would trap just hundreds of these cats and then euthanize them. And that was then used in the program for science programs for dissections. And people lost their dang minds. I made the mistake of talking about it on Facebook. And again, this was a very, very long time ago. People freaked out. How can you do this? You're a monster. This is awful. And you call yourself a farmer when you're okay with, dude, what are we supposed to learn on? You're not complaining when I'm, a nurse, and then when there's a nurse taking care of you. And every nurse that is at your bedside ever has had to do dissections and part of learning and part of whatever. And it would be much better to, at least if you're going to go through and have to euthanize large numbers of like cats like this, at least they're being used for something and not just being tossed out in the garbage and left. At least they're serving a purpose, and a very important and useful one. And yes, sometimes in class when people would be dissecting these cats, they would have ones that were pregnant sometimes. This is an inevitable, I can't talk today, part of all this life. So I'm going to get off my soapbox on that anyway. So yeah, those are your choices. Unfortunately, there's not a ton of choices. If your dog has an oops, there's no birth control, there's no Explanon, there's no IUD for dogs. It'd be pretty cool if there was a cheaper option. A lot of people, if you have a big dog, can't afford $800 to $1,000 to have them spayed. But that's another topic for another day. Those are your choices. Those are your options. Do what's best for you. Consult with your vet, and they will help you and guide you along the way too. If you have any other questions, drop them below. We can chop it up, talk about it, go from there. All right, guys. Talk to you again soon.